We have all felt it. That quiet, unsettling feeling rising in our chests when we look out at the world. We see people who seem to ignore the rules, who act only for themselves, and yet they prosper. They build large houses, drive fancy cars, their laughter echoes in halls of power. It can make you question everything you believe in. This is not a new question. It is a timeless human struggle. This very question troubled a king long ago. His name was David, a shepherd, a warrior, a poet. He looked around and saw the same things we see. He saw the wicked flourishing like a well-watered tree. He felt the sting of injustice, the confusion that comes when life doesn't seem fair. We start to wonder if we chose the wrong path. But David did not let it consume him. He took his questions and laid them down in song. In Psalm 37, he speaks directly to this feeling. He tells us, "Do not fret because of those who are evil or be envious of those who do wrong." So, what is the answer to this age-old dilemma? David offers a simple yet profound set of instructions. Trust in the Lord, do good, dwell in the land, enjoy safe pasture. This is not a call for inaction, a different kind of action, planting our feet in a foundation of faith, tending to our own garden, focusing on our own deeds, cultivating goodness in our small corner of the world. It's a quiet rebellion against the noisy chaos of the world, a decision to live by a different set of values. The second piece of advice: be still before the Lord and wait patiently for Him. This may be the hardest part. Patience is a virtue that our modern world has little time for, but David reminds us that there is a divine timing to all things. Waiting is not a passive act of giving up. It is an active state of trust. It is the deep, abiding belief that God is at work behind the scenes, weaving a tapestry that we can only see a few threads of. It is the quiet confidence that our story is part of a much larger, more beautiful narrative. This path of trust and patience is a path of peace. When we stop striving to control every outcome, when we release our grip on envy and frustration, a certain calm begins to settle over our souls. We are no longer tossed about by the changing fortunes of those around us. Our stability comes not from our circumstances, but from our connection to something greater than ourselves. We learn to delight in the Lord, finding a joy that is not dependent on worldly success. For those who choose this path of quiet faith, the promises are not of fleeting riches or temporary power. They are of something far more valuable, something eternal. David speaks of an inheritance. He says, "For those who are evil will be destroyed, but those who hope in the Lord will inherit the land." This is not just about owning a piece of property, a sense of belonging, a sense of security, having a place in the world that cannot be taken away, a life built on solid rock, not shifting sand. This inheritance is a state of being, a deep-seated peace that comes from knowing you are under God's care. The righteous are promised protection. The Psalms tell us that the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. Though he may stumble, he will not fall, for the Lord upholds him with his hand. Life will still have its challenges. There will be moments of weakness, but the promise is that we will not be utterly cast down. This is a profound comfort. It means we do not have to be perfect. Furthermore, there is a promise of provision. "I was young and now I am old, yet I have never seen the righteous forsaken or their children begging bread." This speaks to a fundamental trust in God's faithfulness. Finally, the inheritance of the righteous is a legacy of peace. This is the true wealth, the inheritance that endures long after the world's riches have faded to dust. Now let us turn our gaze, as David did, to the path of the wicked. At first glance, their journey seems enviable. They flourish like a green plant in its native soil. Their success can be sudden, immense, dazzling. They seem to operate by a different set of rules, and for a time it appears to be working spectacularly. They plot against the righteous, they speak with arrogance, and they gather wealth and power around themselves like a thick cloak. It is easy to be mesmerized by their apparent strength. Their success is a bright, burning flame that draws our attention. But David urges us to look closer. He says their success is like grass that withers. The greenest grass, under the heat of the sun, will eventually turn brown and brittle. The prosperity of those who live without regard for God or others is built on a foundation of nothing. They are ultimately like chaff that the wind blows away. David says he has seen a wicked and ruthless man flourishing like a towering cedar tree. He was immense, powerful, seemed untouchable. But then, David says, he passed away and was no more. Though I looked for him, he could not be found. It was like a shadow that disappears when the sun goes down. This is the ultimate fate of all power and wealth that is not anchored in righteousness. It is temporary, transient, and in the grand sweep of history, it leaves no lasting trace. The story of the wicked is a cautionary tale. A life built on selfishness and injustice is destined to collapse. The journey of faith is not always a steady uphill climb. Sometimes the path leads through dark valleys of our own making. David was not a perfect man. He knew the crushing weight of sin and the agony of guilt. In Psalm 38, he opens his heart and shows us what it looks like to be utterly broken before God. He cries out, "My guilt has overwhelmed me like a burden too heavy to bear." He does not hide his failings or make excuses. He describes his physical pain. He describes the feeling of being abandoned by friends. He describes the deep sorrow that comes from knowing he has done wrong. This is the raw, unfiltered prayer of a man who knows he has strayed. This honesty is a profound lesson for us all. We are often taught to present our best selves to God. We are often taught to hide our flaws, but David shows us a different way. He lays his brokenness bare. He trusts that God is not looking for perfection, but for honesty. He confesses, "I confess my iniquity. I am troubled by my sin." In this act of confession, there is a release. It is the first step toward healing. By admitting our weakness, we open the door for God's grace to enter. We allow ourselves to be vulnerable before the one who knows us completely. Even in his deepest despair, David never loses his grip on hope. His prayer is not just a list of sufferings, it is a plea for help. "Lord, I wait for you. You will answer, Lord my God." He knows that even when he feels distant from God because of his sin, God has not actually moved. It is in the darkest moments that the choice to trust becomes most critical. It is in acknowledging our unrighteousness that we can truly grasp God's righteousness. David's journey through Psalms 37 to 39 is about the journey of every human heart. We will all face injustice. We will all be tempted by envy. We will all fall short. But these Psalms remind us that our ultimate hope is not in our own goodness, but in God's faithfulness. He is our refuge. He is our Savior. He is the one who will never forsake those who put their trust in him. This is the secret to a life that is not just successful, but deeply and profoundly meaningful.